There's a particular moment in technological development and also the just pre-industrial revolution that the owls are very interested in. We're interested in the way technologies decay and then get reinvented. Now we see parallels in this in the current rise in maker culture, where people want to reclaim their ability to make things that they actually own or to hack things, which is a counterculture to the mass production of phones and our laptops and everything.
Okay, so as the Owl Project, we like to make musical instruments, and well, we actually come from a sculpture background, so we started making sculptures that also make electronic music. So our earliest work was called the Log 1K, which was a kind of laptop that made strange electronic music, and since then we've been developing wooden electronic musical instruments which make sort of minimal electronica.
I think our project's aesthetic highlights and also creates a tension between the technical world and the infrastructures that needs, oil production and industry, and the natural world, where we highlight through the use of wood. The dichotomy, the issue there is that, of course, we take our log here, which is a log, obviously, but it's packed with electronics. And this electronics is very much production of a technological age. And that has a whole history with it in terms of pollution, residue, sourcing of it. And by marrying them together, we are gently raising this question of what are we making? As in humanity, what do we make? And what do we do with it?
So Flow was a really large commission for the Olympics last year. It was one of the Cultural Olympiad projects in Newcastle, and it was funded by the Arts Council. And we worked on it, the Owl Project, alongside Ed Carter, who worked with us to create a huge water wheel that sat on the River Tyne. So the idea was really taking the energy of the river and using that to power these mechanical instruments that made sound from the river. And people could go into the mill and play with these instruments and create their own composition, basically.
My name's Nick Merriman. I'm director of the Manchester Museum, which is part of the University of Manchester. We've been around for about 125 years, and our collections are really divided into two main areas. One is human cultures, so archaeology, Egyptology, anthropology, and natural history, ranging from things such as entomology or study of insects through to botany, plants. The museum has two main objectives. One is promoting understanding between cultures, and the other one is working towards a sustainable world. So everything we do has to contribute to one or both of those goals. So one of our really big aims is to use our collections to try and stimulate people's awareness of issues such as climate change and concerns about biodiversity and the sustainability of life on the planet.
We're really excited by the context of working within the museum and working in reference to all those objects and the skills that they have there, but also the parameters that Alice brings in terms of working with climate change. And obviously I think that's something we've always been interested in and touched on in our work, and our work often relates to that, but I think this will give us much more kind of incentive to try and make that a bit more focused, and kind of really look forward to that challenge.
In a way, a museum makes a little life escape pods for all of its artifacts, whether they are still living or they're actually being dug up as fossils, a little survival zone for these artifacts. And that's kind of an interesting thing for us to play on.
I mean, we're particularly interested in the Owl Project because of their own interest in working in wood. And that very directly relates to one of the new collecting themes that we've developed in the museum, which is collecting on the theme of trees, which goes across really all of our collections areas. So the OWL project fitted very naturally into that. I'm also interested myself in the role of sound and music in museum spaces, and museum spaces as performance spaces. We have world cultures in the museum. We've also had a programme of world music. So sound and indeed vision and artefacts made of traditional materials are all things that we're very interested in.